Chatterboxes. This is my review for Power Book 2 Ghost Season 1, Episode 2, Exceeding Expectations. If you guys haven't done so already, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Please don't forget to share my videos. It helps me out a lot, and I really, really appreciate it. Welcome to my new subscribers. I really appreciate the support. So without further ado, we just going to get into this recap, okay? So it starts off with Tasha. She's meeting with the lawyers, Davis McLean and Paula. Paula plays Davis investigator. So they're going to her to try to see, first of all, why Sax and them trying to charge her with the queen pin status, and what is really going on, because there's some pieces of the puzzle that they're not able to put together, and they trying to figure out what did they, stumble into. So they were asking her a slew of questions, basically to the effect, did you ever order his for the operation? No. They asked. So Paula was saying your names are on a lot of paperwork in regards to the club. You mean to tell me you didn't have anything to do with what's going on? So she was saying, oh, I might have ran a few books for them. And then that's when Davis was like, listen, you gonna have to be straight up, because they gonna ask you this stuff under the oath. So we need to know exactly what's going on. And they said that they had even no knowledge that Tommy was deep into the organization as she appeared to be. They said because he only had minor arrests, and he was only under suspicion with the feds once, but that was dropped. So they were trying to figure out deeper into what was going on. Now, Davis, he a money hungry goddamn thing. Because first thing he said, even when he started talking to her, was like, when am I going to get the rest of my money? She was like, well, I just thought Stern was paying, for y'all. But Tariq was. They was like, no, cash. Tariq paid cash. He was like, and we do for a payment. So she said she going to get them their money or whatever like that. I don't know where she thinks she going to get that money at, because she have no more favors. She have no more people of influence to... Well, Stern, depending on what you offer him. But I doubt if he going to break his neck for some Tasha, okay? That's just not going to happen. But I really think that Dave is going to realize how of a record-breaking case this is. He probably end up taking this case, even if Tariq ain't able to continue to pay him pro bono, just for the exposure. Because he's seen one of them, like one of those headliner grabbing type of people. So they basically was saying they trying to figure out. She said that Sax knew that she's not no goddamn queen pin, because after all those questions that Davis was asking her, he was like, well, if you saying no to these things, then you're not considered the queen pin. And that's when she said, yeah, and Sax knows it. So he's trying to figure out why they trying to charge her so high or whatever. So it's gonna all come out in the wash. We already know that. So we see Reek now. He's in the dorm and Zeke come in. So he checking Zeke out and asks him, I thought that college student aren't able, because he a player in college, isn't able to take, money from like recruiters and stuff like that. He was like, no, my they hooked me up, because Monet is his aunt. He was like, she want me to focus on school and she keep me fly. So Tariq, he tries to invite himself to dinner, to the family dinner that's taking place, that evening, just so he can get close to that family, because you already know he already kind of did research on to see what they was about. So he's trying to get into the circle, I guess, so he can get like a connect, or I don't know, get protection. I don't know what his motive is right now, but this is what he's doing. So he is going to meet up, he being Zeke, he's going to meet up with the professor. And I told y'all last week that professor was looking at Tariq a little bit too suspect and stuff like that. Now Zeke got a crush on her, but I think she got some eyes for Tariq. Y'all can, discuss that in the comment section if y'all think that I'm right. But I said it last week, and I'm sticking to it this week too. Something ain't right with that. Something ain't right. Anyway, Tyreek told him, you better read the paper before you go meeting with her. You better read the paper. He was like, because she's going to ask some questions, and if you don't read the paper, she's going to know you didn't write it. So he was like, and I don't want you blowing up or a spot. He was like, I got you. He better read that goddamn paper. That's what I know. Okay, so now we see Reek. He's a little late as usual. And he's in that canonical studies class. Now, we already know that they said that the class is going to be rigorous. And, you know, you got to buckle down, do what you're supposed to do. So, before he walked his ass, and you see, you know, his classmates, they're in there, and you see this girl. I guess she's supposed to be like the ghetto girl, and I'm putting this in air quotes, the ghetto girl. And then you remember the guy that the other girl was saying how he's white, but I mean he's black, but he's really white, like, you know, like he like an Oreo. That's what she said. So he was in there too. So she was going back and forth with him. And he was like, I'm not going to argue with somebody that only got one name. I mean, don't even have a name. She said, I do have a name. And I think she said, Brew Shonda. I have 2 names. But the girl is light-skinned Keisha. They done gave light-skinned Keisha a goddamn roll on power. You know it's up from here for her. Listen. That's good. I like that. And to have that kind of... And you know what? I like the fact that they had her looking like the stereotypical, you know, ghetto, that they perceive as ghetto girl. Because now that this girl that the outside people would look at as ghetto is actually in a vigorous... First of all, she's in a prestigious college. That's number one. And then she's in one of these rigorous courses that she's keeping up with, and that's able to have an intellectual conversation with anybody in the class. That says a lot. You can't always judge a book by their cover. Sometimes you got to open that bitch up and really read the content of the book, because she would fool anybody walking, you know, thinking she don't know much of nothing. And look at her. She got more brains than the average Joe on the street. You know, she got more brains than somebody that you might see in the office and think so smart. And look at her. So I don't mean to go on her for a rant, but I mean, I like that they put more context behind that character than just the typical ghetto girl. You understand what I'm saying? So they were, you know, talking about the book, and Tyreek, he was able to bullshit his way through the beginning, but then Lauren, she was asking him, you know, well, how did you feel towards the end of the book, and how, you know, why did he do what he did, and all that. Tyreek ain't read that shit, so the professor picked up on it. He was like, oh, you didn't read the book again. I told you this class was vigorous. Like, Tyreek, listen, you got to get your shit together, because if you want to graduate early, and that's the goal, you going to have to get your stuff together. And Laura was saying to him, like, she wasn't trying to blow up his spot. She didn't know he didn't read the book. He was like, no, it's my fault. I should have read the book. Yes, it is your fault, and I'm glad you took ownership of it. As he's in talking to her, he get a text from Davis. Davis want him to meet up with him. So he meets up with Davis, and Davis basically telling him, like, listen, in order to get your mom off, we need you to get a eulogy and blow up your goddamn on dead spot. Tyreek really wasn't trying to do that. He was like, listen, it's either your mom life or him. Grow up, get some tough skin. Like, do what you need to do. And your dad already did. You the reason for him being dead. You killed him. So, I mean, what's the sense of holding back now? Like, you already ended his life. I don't give a fuck about tarnishing his reputation. Like, what? So, now we see Tyreek. He's on his way to meet with Stern. But in the process of that, he run into Brayton. And Brayton was, you know, he was like, oh, yeah, your dad. First, he was talking about the strippers at the club. And then he asked him about the funeral tomorrow, asked him if he wanted him to go. And he was like, no. So Brayton must have gave the girl the PIN number or something to his Venmo. So she was cash apping herself some money. Then Brayton did pick up on, he was talking to the other stripper. I forgot her name. But Brayton picked up on it. He was like, he was like, oh, I seen she was all on you, this and the other. But he was like, is she your connect? She running stuff for you? Brayden went in. He was like, because we was doing good, you know, back at the other school. I forgot the name of the other school. He was like, we were doing good there. And Tyreek not trying to let Brayden know what's going on. He ain't trying to let him in on it or whatever. So he was like, well, you're going to need help. He was like, you can't do it by yourself. So I guess Tyreek still probably wondering thinking about if he going to let Brayden in, because Brayden is right. You're going to need some help trying to run that stuff, but I don't know if Brayden is the right person to put, because he still don't even know how that Effie situation went down. Like, it could be iffy. Brayden could have had something to do with that. We don't know. Anyway, so Brayden invited him to a frat party at his brother's frat, but Tyreek got a text and said that, you know, Auntie said yes. Auntie meaning Monet. So he already in like Flynn when it come to that. Then we see Monet. She's in bed with the Spanish cop that came to break, like, I guess it was like when it was a disturbance, when Kane and the guy was arguing and fighting and stuff. Come to find out, she's sleeping with the goddamn cop. And he all in his feelings talking about why you still, you know, trying to be with a person that's inside for life. And she was like, well, it's something that he can give me that you can't. And that's protection. That name holds protection, because he wanted her to change her name and all this other stuff. You know, sometimes guys get a little ahead of themselves. That because we casually having sex and all that old stuff, that don't mean you're going to be able to dictate how I move in my life. Like, you're not about to do that. A little bit of peeing ain't about to have me jumping through no goddamn hoops. Y'all need to get over your goddamn self, okay? So anyway, she was like, no. And she was like, I guess she got like a text or something. She was like, the kids are on their way home and I don't want them seeing you, especially Kane, you got to get out. I guess I guess they still think that she's being faithful to their father and she don't want them to know everything she doing. But guess what? Mama got needs and he in for he in for life. So ain't nobody about to lock down a cat for a whole life sentence. We ain't doing that. Anyway, so moving on from that, we see Tyreek. He met with Stern. No, matter of fact, let me back up. It wasn't Tyreek. You see Zeke, he's talking to the professor. He's trying to flirt with her and asking her where she from and telling her, you know, he originally from down south, but he went to school in, you know, New York and, you know, X, Y, and Z. She ain't trying to hear none of that shit. She keep asking about Tyreek. And he mentioned Tyreek, you know, dad funeral was tomorrow. She asked him if he was going, how's Tyreek? He was like, you know, we don't really talk about that. That's all she do is worrying about Tyreek. And like I told y'all last review, and I'm saying it now, and she's infatuated with Tyreek, little young girl. She turned on by him, and not in no teacher, student type of way, okay? Some shit gonna go down between them two towards the end of this goddamn season. Trust and believe what I say. And guess what? Y'all heard it here first, okay? Y'all heard it on Chatwood Dree first. I said the last episode. If y'all ain't check out that last review, go check it out. Y'all know what I'm saying. Anyway, so she totally dismissed him. And once he left out the office, she was looking up Tyreek. Like, okay, what's that about? Anyway, now we see Tyreek. He actually talking to Stern. And Stern, he got word from Davis because Davis told him the plan that he want for Tasha in order, you know, for her to be able to, you know, get a fair trial, get acquitted or whatever. I don't know. I guess acquitted. That they need Tyreek to kind of tarnish Ghost's name. So Stern wants the opposite, because like he's saying to Tyreek, he was like, listen, if you tarnish the name, he was like, listen, I'm gonna be all right. He was like, but you got a lot to lose. Your family, y'all got stuff to lose. He was like, and the first law of business is, what can this do to help men? I'm like, damn, that's some cutthroat shit. But I guess them businessmen are cutthroat. They worried about, at the end of the day, how is this going to help me? Fuck all the bullshit. And I don't know. And Tyreek didn't like the fact that Stern said he remind him of his father, because he don't see himself in his father, but he is a lot like his father. And as the season progresses, we're going to see. He might be a little different in the way he moved, but you still got those basic elements of Ghost. So we see Sax, John, and the guy from the DNC. and we also see Davis and Paula. The scenes are running concurrently, so they're trying to figure out how they can get that kingpin charge off of Tasha's, and they also trying to figure out why Saxe is, pushing for it. Like, what's the motive behind it? Saxe, and then you see Saxe telling John and the guy from the DMC that, Tasha was no kingpin, and they basically was like, it don't really matter if she was or wasn't. It's all about us being able to prove it. And she got, ties to the organization. She was his wife. We can shine a light that she knew more than what she claimed that she knew. Saxe, he's resistant towards it, because Saxe know if he press full throttle on this, his dirt can come up too. So he don't want that shit coming out to light, but he ain't gonna have no other choice, because they pressing the gas on this, because they don't want the Democratic Party to have a stain on them, because they basically was standing behind, Ghost. Because like he said, we all know Ghost was St. Patrick. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit. That's all they trying to do, is not have the Democratic Party with that stain on them. They endorse them, and they just don't want the drama, that will come after that. And Davis and them, they figuring out that this is all political. So now they really intrigued about this case, and this shit about to go down, okay? Because he about to have his foot on they goddamn neck. So Saxe and them is in for a fight. So now we see Tariq. He's talking to Tasha while she's in jail. He's letting her know what Stern said, and she was like, Stern got a point. She was like, but Tariq is against it, because he was like, I don't want you to get in more trouble than what you are. I want you to have a chance. He was like, so she said, what do you want to do? He don't really want to do it, but he gonna have to figure it out. She was like, it's better than you not saying anything, which is true. Then she was like, well, how? She speaking to Davis, because he mentioned Davis told him, because she was like, oh, now Davis meeting behind my back. And she said, well, speaking of Davis, how did you get the money to pay for him? You ain't open the daycare back up. No, ma. So she was about to slip up, and then she remembered what she was saying. So then she was so then she asked him how was school and things like that, because those phone calls in the jail be tapped, so you can't really be saying too much about that or whatever like that. But she gonna figure out that his ass, how you coming up with this kind of money, Tariq? She know he got to be doing something. You can say no all you want. Like, where are you getting this money? Anyway, now we see Saxe, creepy, slimy, creepy. He just gets on my damn nerves. He is such a sleaze. It's not even funny. So he is talking to investigator Sarza. So he's trying to get him to be his lead investigator on the case, but he don't want no part to Saxe. He was like, listen, you just got fired 2 weeks ago. You the judge signed off on your arrest, and then you the U.S. attorney, he was like, no, something ain't. He said, I don't know what's going on, but something ain't on the up and up. So Saxe, he went and was like, this can make your career. This is a queen pin case. It's Saxe murder, intrigue. He was like, this is the case of the century. So he was like, no, because you remember that black guy that got killed while he was guarding Dre. He was like, that was my friend. He was like, and he was, as good as it come. He was like, no. He was like, and Saxe was like, I regret that. I think about his girls every day. He was like, that blood is on my hand, but we got to make this right. We got to do something. So he was saying, like, I go hard for the bad guys, to get them off the street. And as much as I do that, Davis, go hard to try to get them off. He was like, oh, so Davis is on the case. So him and Davis have prior history of Davis messing up some case for him, and it almost sinked the other guy's career. So now he agreed to working with Saxe. He was on the like on the realm of it's being on the up and up. But you already know when it comes to sex, ain't shit gonna be on the up and up. Ain't nothing gonna be there. So now we see Tyreek. He's talking to the professor, because you know she do some kind of like coaching the students as well. Her name is Carrie. So she's talking to him. She's telling him that she hears he a little bit behind. And he was like, what, Professor Reynolds told you that? And she was like, yeah, but it's to be expected. So then she went into this whole spiel, you know, about it's a shame how they expect young black men to suppress their feelings. It's not, you know, feelings, it's emotions. It's not, you know, healthy. And you going through a traumatic thing with losing your father and things like that. Listen, the way first of all, it's like she's latching onto him in an unhealthy way. And like I said, I get predatory vibes. It almost feel like she trying to get him in an entanglement, like how Jada had August Alsina. And like, it feel like those one, you know, somebody coming talking nice, soft words to you, you know, really trying to listen to you and have you spill your innermost, deepest thoughts and all that, and then all along grooming you for what they want you for. Like, she kind of giving me those vibes, but that's to be determined as the season progresses. So she gets mad at him. No, she goes to see Professor Reynolds, because she gets mad at him because she's saying that, you know, he's a little bit too hard on him. And he was like, well, he hasn't read 2 of the books, and she want him to, you know, ease up off of them. So she's telling him how she want to do a visual for Ghost. Well, she don't know he's Ghost, but, you know, for Ghost. And he's like, absolutely not. Like, does he even want it? He don't need that kind of heat on him. You know, everybody already knows what's going on. He don't need that kind of spotlight on him. And he was like, you always trying to save somebody, you always trying to, you know, help situations, but everybody don't need the kind of help. You know, basically that's what he's saying. Like, everybody don't need or want your help. And she thinks she's doing something good by throwing this visual for, you know, for James and all that old stuff, but you ain't reading the room right, and you definitely ain't reading Tyreek right. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're getting into it, her Professor Reynolds. So come to find out, they had some kind of fling going on. He done wrote a book about it. She brought it up, and she got him the job there. After all this took place, they start getting all hot and bothered, and they start having sex in the goddamn in his office. And I'm like, I knew it was some tension with them. I knew it was something there, but I ain't know y'all was fucking. You know what I mean? So we see Carrie now, right after, you know, the entanglement. We see her talking to this lady. We don't know who this lady is, but come to find out, this lady is her sponsor. And Carrie has like some kind of sex and love addiction. That could be why she attaching herself to Tyreek, but it's like weird, and it's probably going to play out in a weird way. So the lady, so she was telling the lady, you know, that they had sex, and she was like, no, you did. She was like, she thinking that he might be that person for her. You know, like they say, everybody got like a soulmate. Everybody got somebody that they can't walk away from. She thinking. And the lady was like, listen, that shit might have been good when you're 20s, but now, the age that you are, it ain't cute no more. She was like, you know, don't be in a room with him by yourself. If you in a room, had a door open, you know, set expectations, set, you know, limitations and all that stuff. She was like, this ain't it. She was like, or you going to become the woman that's in that book. Like, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I guess we'll find out more and more as the season go on about how deep her addiction go and things like that. But the way they talking is that she might have was hooked on him bad, and it may have took a lot for her to get away from him, and now she falling back into those tracks. Because the lady even asked her, well, what did you think was happening when you got him the job there? She was like, I don't know. I didn't think that he would really be around me. I got him a job in the lit department, and then I guess someone retired, so that job that he has now came up, and I guess she thought she was going to be able to deal with it, but you can't deal with that, mama. Because, listen, you can't deal with it. You already was in, I was about to say you was already in this bed, but y'all was in the office, so you was already on his desk. You know what I mean? So, you got to get that shit together before that shit consume you. Okay, so we at dinner now with the Tejada family. Tariq, he's there with everybody. You know, he seemed like he vibing. Everybody trying to fill him out, you know, a little bit. Because Kane, he was kind of on mute. So the door bell rang, and no one was expecting anybody. It was like, who that, mom? She was like, I don't know. Who I look like, Cleo? So she told Kane to get the door. So here come Pops and Uncle Frank. Now, he's not their biological uncle, but, you know, I guess he ran with his father and stuff like that. Been around for a long time, so you know how they go. So anyway, he pops up, and he's on some bullshit, okay? He's on some BS. So he was kind of flirting with the daughter and everything, and Monet did pick up on that. And so he was asking her, first of all, no one even knew he was out of jail. Let's go there. No one knew that he was out of jail. They wanted they were like, and he said that her husband asked him, you know, told him that it'd be all right for him to come get some stuff for her. He was like, he ain't tell you no shit like that. And how you get out? You know what I'm saying? And then he's talking about, well, you know, a lot of people on the streets don't know me, you know, and they say, you know, I know I can get some stuff from you. So she already knew they did that. So she jumped up. She shut dinner down. She told Kane to take Reek back to school. And the other son, I forgot the son name. She told him to go have a, you know, talk with him with a drink or something, you know, with Uncle Frank with a drink. So she already know something is up. You know what I'm saying? So Tariq and Kane, they go back to school. Well, Kane is taking Tariq back to school, but he do a little detour and he pulls over into like a parking lot, and he told Tariq to get the fuck out. So he told Tariq, like, listen, whatever happens between my family stays in my family. So Tariq, like, you don't got to tell me that. So he basically let him know that Uncle Frank was a rat. And he was like, how you know that? So he was like, first of all, to get a parole hearing, that take months. He pops up with not nobody even knowing. That's what rats do. You know, he running it down, which it was convincing. But Tariq, listen, he a good pump fake. Well, no, Tariq did observe that. He is smart. But he is, you know, he can stay cool under pressure because he did not let Kane intimidate him not one bit in that scene. And he know Kane is a straight killer. He knows Kane is a killer. But he held his own in that scene. So he was like, I ain't trying to come against your family. He was like, I'm helping Zeke to stay in school. He was like, so I'm not trying to bring no heat to your family. We on the same team. And he was like, come on, nigga. And then Kane looking like, like you looking at Kane looking like, who the fuck is this nigga here? But it's surprising to me, Kane being a street guy that he is, how he didn't pick up on it. You understand what I'm saying? Because he was saying, oh, Uncle Frank been in our family for a while. Okay, but you didn't pick up on that. But you know what? Sometimes when you blinded by, you know, loyalty or, you know, love or whatever the case may be, sometimes you overlook some shit. But you better tighten up, Kane. Kane, you better tighten up. So Tariq is back at the campus and he walks up to the goddamn going visual for his father. And you could tell he looks like he struck like a deer struck in here, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he had like this shook look on his face, and you could tell he was not too happy. But prior to that, you see Professor Reynolds walking up to Carrie, and she was like, oh, you came. He was like, yeah, I really didn't want to. And he was like, well, where's Tariq? So they was waiting on Tariq to come. My thing is, I'm glad you're trying to show interest and you feel as though he's not opening up and expressing his feelings, but I don't feel like it's your place to force those feelings out of him. And if he didn't give you the okay to do this memorial for his father, you should not have done it. You should not have done it. You overstepped your boundaries with that. So it was like people trying to take selfies with Ghost picture and Brayton. He's slapping the phones out of people's hand. Like, Brayton, let me tell you something. Brayton do got Tariq back. First out, he do got Tariq back because he wasn't playing. He was giving them motherfucking people hell because people was there for the wrong reasons, and Brayton wasn't having that shit. So Brayton ended up walking up to Tariq when he realized Tariq was like, shook, and he was like, "Well, what's going on?" So Tariq was like, "You still want to go to your brother's party?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's get out of here." So they end up stepping off, and Professor Reynolds and Carrie, they looking, but that situation kind of proved what Reynolds was saying, right? Like, he was like, you shouldn't do this if he ain't asked for it. I'm going to speed this up because this video is getting longer than I expected to do. So I'm just going to kind of give like a little overview. So, Monet is talking to her daughter. She's talking to her about Frank. She asking her, what should they do about Frank? And her daughter was like, well, shouldn't we give him the benefit of the doubt? She's looking like she ain't trying to hear that. So she was like, she said, well, won't you just ask? She was like, he's not going to tell me, but he might tell you. Did you see how he was looking at you? We could use that as leverage. You might can use that for him to be able to tell you some things. I get it. I mean, I'm not in the market of trying to pimp out my kids in any capacity, but they in a different kind of life. They in a different kind of situation. So I get you gonna use any assets you can to, get the information. But damn, that was a little much. So as they talking about that, Kane walks in, and Kane, so she was asking him what did he get, out of Tariq. He was like, that one thing for sure, Zeke was right. He's smart. He told me that he was a snitch. So he was like, what? So he was like, what do he know about snitches or whatever? So she, being Monet, she went to Zeke and was like, I need to know everything about Tariq. And because he don't know much about Tariq. So she wants to know, how do a kid that's supposedly be not from the hood, not from the streets and things like that, know how to just spot out a snitch? And her intuition is spot on, because like I say, Kane, he act like he ain't pick up on that goddamn shit. So that's a blind spot for to me, and for me looking at from the outside end with Kane, he not that good of observing people. So Monet said that Kane handle Frank. So when she said that, he know what that mean, because he gave her like a look. He knew exactly what that meant. So Tariq and Brayton is at the frat house. They giving him hell. Brayton brother is giving them hell, calling them skid marks, and skid marks ain't allowed in the party. So he was about to kick them out until his friend noticed who Tariq was. He was saying that, that's the kid who mom is in jail for killing his dad, who was the politician. So they end up letting them, stay. So as that's going on, you hear a knock on the door from I guess it was like the campus police or whatever. And Tariq just observing all this. He's quiet. He not giving them he not, talking shit. Cause he got a mouth, but he's not doing none of that. He's just observing the scene. So Brayton was telling him, like, I'll tell you, because somebody was smoking like us weed or something. He was like, we can make a killing in here. Yeah, you can. You gotta be careful though. So as the door was, they were knocking at the door, the school police. So Brayton's brother went to the door. He all cocky, one of them cocky, rich white boys. He was like, you can't come in here without no warrant into my property. They was like, it's the school property. And he just hauled off and sucker punched the cop. So they hemmed him up. So Brayton was talking to the female cop, and he was like, listen, I know he's a dick. He was like, but that's my brother. I forgot he's saying, I think he said his name Trent or Trevor or something like that, Weston. So she was like, as the auditorium Weston? He was like, yeah. So they released them, and Tariq is looking at all of this and seeing what's going on. So he's going to try, how he wants to see how he can leverage their, clout to his advantage. So now we see that guard that was riding Tasha. She's talking to another inmate, but they don't see that Tasha is there listening. So the inmate is getting into the guard shit. Like, she won her morning after pill, and she was like, and if you don't get it, I'm going to turn this whole block against you. So I guess Tasha going to take all that in and realize if she have like things that people need, they might can help her in other ways, because that guard for some reason is riding the shit out of her. And now that she see that she can be pressed in there, she gonna use that to her advantage. Now we see Davis, we see Saxe, and both of their detectives, you know, yeah, like the detectives that they, you know, get the investigators, I'm sorry. So they're in front of the judge and they trying to get a hearing because they wondering why Saxe, you know, with the U.S. District Attorney, would have a federal warrant ready to charge Tasha with a kingpin statute. They want to subpoena the prosecutor under oath to see exactly if she was coerced or how that took place. So the judge going to let it go through and get a hearing for the next day, because it looked like it was some kind of foul play on Saxe and on behalf. Well, actually, it's going to take place the same day. So now we see the funeral. It's like it's like a paparazzi playing ground. So you see Tariq, you know, the grandmom, yes, and everything. So the grandmom, they actually visit Raina's grave, and she was like, I'm so glad that you're not going to be alone anymore, baby girl. I mean, that's so sad. You know, even though I know it's fictional or whatever like that, that is sad, you know, that Raina had to go. So she was like, well, how could you afford all this when we barely, you know, surviving? He was like, I didn't do anything about that. But y'all know Stern, the one who paid for all the funeral and stuff like that, and probably the DNC and all that other stuff too, because they wanted the image to stay alive. So Davis told Tariq that his mom was going to speak, but when the cops when the guards let her, you know, brought her to the cemetery, they put handcuffs on her. So he didn't want that image of her, you know, giving a eulogy while she was in handcuffs. That wouldn't have went over good with the jury. And the reason why they wanted her to speak is because they wouldn't be able to do like the gag order thing. And I guess she was gonna she wasn't gonna speak in a good light about ghosts, and it kind of would have caused some kind of conflict when they was in court. So that's why he wanted to use it. But like I said, the guards put like the handcuffs on her, everything like that. Now I know this is fiction and all this old stuff, and you know it's just TV and things like that, but a judge would never have allowed Tasha to come to their funeral. Like, people can pay for their family members to come from jails, you know, to view the body and stuff like that. They don't sit at the funerals. They come before everybody and they go. And second of all, you are in jail for his murder. They would never signed off on you coming to their funeral. But it is TV. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Some stuff in this show just, you be like, I know y'all gotta, you know, give us a show, but some shit just don't be making sense. We see that Tariq met his Uncle Gabe, and Uncle Gabe had told him how he reminds him a lot of his father. He was like, I don't even look like him. He was like, yeah, I know. He was like, but you're smart. You know, he was like, you remind me of him. And he was like, your grandpapa always said, because they thought they was going to lose ghosts from, you know, time to time. And your grandpapa always said, you going, if you in this life, it's either two ways out, either dead or in jail. He was like, I guess everybody got to go. So whatever. So Tariq, we see Tate ass there too. He trying to gain grandstand. He was going to throw his head in the ring about giving a eulogy, but that's when Tariq said that he'll end up giving it. I'm like, Tate, oh my God. And they use Tate as a goddamn pallbearer. And when he came from you know, putting Ghost casket, you know, with, you know, like on the whatever that is that, you know, hold it up before they lower in the ground. He was trying to shake Tasha. Tasha looked at him like he was the goddamn crazy. She already know what type time he on. So Tariq ended up giving a eulogy. And I will say, it seemed as though Tariq may be resenting, or not resenting. It looked like he might be thinking, like, I think he might be thinking that he should not have killed his dad, because it's like he said in his eulogy, I'm learning more about him now than I ever knew. And he said, I'm a manifestation of what he couldn't be. I'm thinking he's starting to learn, like he said, he learning more about him, and he's starting to realize his dad might not been all fucked up like he thought he was. And I think that's burning him up a little bit too, because he had him pegged as, you know, just this vicious, cutthroat person, but it was the other side to him that you didn't tap into because you were so busy being angry, and now you finding out these things in, you know, in his absence, in his death, and it's eating him up. It's eating him up. So Tasha had asked Reek, can he get her like a morning after pill or something before the guards rushed her off. That was so dramatic. Like, it was so dramatic. I felt sorry for Tasha and sorry for her with that goddamn going hat sitting up on top of her head looking like that. The outfit was sharp, but that hat had to go. So David, Saxe, the judge, they all in her chambers because she's trying to see if the case is going to be thrown out based on the evidence that they present. So they put the prosecutor Sullivan on the stand, and she basically said what we already know, that Saxe blindsided her. He acted like he was going to honor the deal that she had on the table just to take it away and make it a federal thing. She, you know, she felt undermined. Saxe, you know, he knew he was like up Shit's Creek or whatever about which, because she did have some like damaging like information, like because it looked like he was on some shady stuff, but they didn't know that he had a rebuttal witness, which person, you know, to talk witness. I guess that's what you call a witness, which was Blanca. So Blanca, with her testimony, and even though Saxe was trying to lead the questioning, because he kind of he set it up where as though it only could be like yes or no questions, answers or whatever. So she couldn't really get into detail, but Davis knew she had more than tell. So he was asking about, when Tasha led him to the body of her old boyfriend, the lawyer. I forgot his name. She led him to the body, but she was like, it was more to it, but he cut her off or whatever. So the judge ruled that it was some meat on the bone. That's what she said, to be able to proceed with the case and not throw it out. But when were dismissed, Blanca had said to Davis, he was like, when this go to trial, I want y'all to call me as a witness. She said, because Saxe is dirty as fuck. So she gonna blow his ass out the water. So I don't know. So Kane and his brother, but Kane, did the murder. Kane goes into a bar where their supposed uncle is, and he knock him out. They take him to another location, kills him. Then they actually showed him dismembering the goddamn body. Then they put the body in these barrels. They do got like a little system that they got going on, clean cut and to the point. I don't know what they playing his goddamn part on here. I like his character. I really do. He don't say much. But when his mother give him them orders, he act out on that shit. So Diana go meet up with Tariq at the dorm, trying to figure out how he knew that Frank was a snitch. So he was like, what Monet sent you here? She was like, no, I just want to know want to know. So he said like this little corny joke or something. She was like, oh, that's the college joke. So he asked her for a favor. He was like, listen, you think that your family, I think he said her dad, can get my mom, something in jail. Like, I need a favor. So she took that information back to her mom and was like, I got some I know something that you don't know. So she told, Monet that Tariq's mother need a friend inside, and she need, someone to get her something. Monet was like, oh, I can do that. I can handle that. So now we see Tasha, she's sitting on her bed in the cell. She feel like a lump, so it's a book. So inside the book is like a morning after pill taped to it, and it's a phone with a number stored in there. And that number is that number that's stored in there goes to a phone that Tariq has. So when she called Tariq, she was like, she was so proud of him, for what he did today, I guess doing a eulogy and things like that. Listen. So she want him out of trouble. He was like, listen, Mom, because she trying to figure out like how he making the moves that he making. She was like, you remember Dad always says only two ways in this game, dead or in jail. He was like, I think I found another way. I don't know what that way is, but he think he found one. So we see Kane, he's driving up to the crib, and he see that the cop is pulling up in his regular street clothes up to his house. Because, you know, like, the kids don't know that Monet is messing around with the cop. So when he comes, he goes in the house, he has a bottle of liquor that she's not impressed by. And he had these papers. So it basically was saying that Frank was a snitch. So he was like, you know anything about that? She was like, no. And this ain't no good to me neither. She was like, why? You talking about you want me to forget about Lorenzo, but you can't help protect me? How you let a snitch come in my house? You think if I knew that he was a snitch, I knew about that, I would let that happen? I didn't know. So he was like, what can I do? What can I do? She was like, I need you to get all the information on the kid named Tariq St. Patrick. So I don't know. I guess the shit about to hit the fan now, because she got her sights set on what the St. Patrick's is really about. Like, she knows something ain't right. That's all I got for this episode. If you guys like the review, please